right, Don, with the Indy 500 right around the corner, I was curious, do you have any just random memories about the Indy 500 or Indy that you'd like to share?
Oh yeah, I've got lots of memories about Indy. Spent a lot of time there. But of course, one of my favorite memories is when I started with Roger Penske. We went to Indy, and it was funny because he said, "I want you to do this and this and this on Sunday." Okay, I can do that. And we were logging the times for the leaders, etc., etc. It was my very first race at Indianapolis. Even though I had been to Indy many times as a spectator, I'd never been there as a participant. And the very first one we went to was 1972, and we won that race with Mark Donohue. So that was a fond memory. And, I can remember going there with Bobby Allison, knowing that we were going to have a really good shot at winning it. We were in the driver's seat, as they say. We had gone past the halfway mark, and that's when we used to have to save a lot of fuel, to get to the end. And we had done that, and came out of the pits, and Roger said, "Okay, let's turn him loose." Don Cox and I were working on Bobby's car, and he ran about 20 or 30 laps. We were in good position to win that race, and had a mechanical failure. Turned out to be, embarrassingly enough, crankshaft bolts came loose. It's just that was a real bummer. And then we had some good things. I remember, going there with the stock car and almost winning it, and then going there. The opening one was a clever situation. I look back at that and have some mixed emotions. When they had the first Brickyard 400, a guy called me up who I knew very well and was not one of Roger's favorites at the time, but it was A.J. Foyt. And A.J. said, "Don, I need some help." And I said, "What do you need, A.J.?" He said, "I don't have a car, but I want to race the Brickyard 400. I said, "Okay, what do you want me to do? Can you build us a car?" I said, "AJ, I'll do what I can for you." And we had an old car. I turned it over to a couple of friends of mine, Larry Penn and a couple other drivers, or a couple other mechanics. And I said, "Here, you guys, take this car, get it ready." And they said, "Well, who's going to be the driver?" And I said, A.J. Foyt. Well, that got him excited, right? And we did an engine for him. And came time for the Brickyard, and we ran our own car, and A.J. ran that car. And then afterwards, Roger said, "Where'd that car come for, A.J.?" I said, "We did it for him." "Ah, man, what'd you do that? I wish you would have let me know." And I said, "Well," why'd you do that?" And I said, "Well, remember when we went to Atlanta the very first time?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "With Rusty?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You remember we had trouble?" I said, "Remember we had trouble with the engine, and Don Kern had built that engine, and it had main bearing problems, and we were without a motor?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He said, "You borrowed that from AJ, didn't you?" And I said, "Yep." I saw it was kind of like returning the favor. He paid for it. We didn't do it for nothing. And he said, "Okay, I understand." And I still look back at that with fond memories. And I know a couple of years ago, AJ and I talked on the phone. He wasn't doing too well, and physically, and we talked about that, and we both laughed about it. Of course, a really good friend of mine was involved in that one too. So, what are you going to do? I mean, Indianapolis, there's only one. It's still the biggest race in the world.